Then he placed the log slowly, deliberately. He straightened, turned around to face her, fixed her with shiny, coal-coloured eyes. "Your job is what I tell you your job is." Bridget sat smoking while the fog thinned over the creek. She hacked a piece of fabric off the bottom of her dress, wrapped it around her hand, and walked slowly back down the field. A little while later, she saw a figure coming down the hill. One of them coming back. Which one? Chambers. He was limping. She had noticed it as they left this morning. He went into Pigot's place, came out with something in his fist, walked down towards the hut that sat close to the damp of the creek, didn't look over at her as he passed by about 20 yards away. What was he doing back? It wasn't lunchtime yet. She heard the hut door open and close, and soon a stream of smoke came from the chimney. In the cottage, she put damper, butter and smoked meat on the table for Pigot, took hers outside to the lean-to and ate there. When she heard the dog bark, signalling Pigot's arrival, she walked off back down to the mud patch. After he'd gone again, he and the dog disappearing up the track and over the rise on the top side of the road, she went up to the cottage, got the bucket and took it down to the creek, drawing water from further down rather than her usual spot so that she didn't have to go too close to Chambers' hut while he was there. Pigot came in again at dusk, hung his coat on the back of the door and sat down at the table. She put a bowl of hot soup and a spoon down in front of him, the butter and damper already there. He slurped a spoonful. "Take one to Chambers." What? She had long ago dispensed with calling him Sir. Chambers never did, and Pigot didn't seem to want it. He was no gentleman, of that she was pretty sure. Pigot slurped again, his face close over the bowl. Didn't answer. She was confused. Chambers had his own rations, was given them every week, and cooked for himself in his hut. She never went there. She turned away from Pigot, spooned soup into a bowl, went to the door and out, down the track towards the creek. Chambers was lying on a straw mattress in the corner, the fire casting a blanket of light over him. His right trouser leg was rolled up to the knee, exposing a yellow boil on the shin, the skin around it red and tight. Bridget stood in the doorway holding the soup bowl. Chambers didn't move. She went quickly over to him and put the soup down on the ground where she was still out of reach. She shut the door behind her and hurried back up to Pigot's cottage and into her lean-to. In the morning, Pigot sent her down to the hut again, this time with oats. Inside, the fire was nearly out. It was cold, but Chambers' face was shiny with sweat. The boil had broken overnight, pus and blood oozing from the middle of it. The leg was more swollen, the whole of it from the knee down, fat and red. She put the oats down, and he pointed at a bowl of water next to him. "Can you get more salt?" She realised then that it must have been salt he'd had in his fist yesterday when he left Pigot's cottage. She had to move closer to him to pick up the bowl. She grabbed it quickly. Pigot was still sitting at the table eating. "He wants salt." He spooned oats into his mouth, kept his gaze on the table in front of him. "Then get it." She went to the sack in the corner, took a handful. She had just reached the door and pulled it open when Pigot spoke. "Touch my pipe again. I'll drown you in that creek." She paused, wondering whether to deny it, then went out and down to the hut. Pigot went up the slope and over the road by himself that morning, just him and the dog. After a while, she heard the steady stroke of the axe begin. As she dug, she looked over at Chambers' hut. By lunch, when Pigot told her again to take soup down there, the fever was on Chambers hard. As she went to leave, he reached out.